with you all the way. Remember that Huntington Park stands with you, all right? Huntington Park High School, we with you all the way, all right? Goodbye, everybody. Have a good one.
The day we made fucking history, y'all remember that?
Y'all, I'm glad we're here. I'm glad we did this. And yeah, bye.
All right, y'all. So we're gonna have a little bit of a speak out again. Give everyone a chance if you didn't get to, or if you have a new thought that you'd like to share. We're gonna invite y'all to come up and then stick around, because we are gonna be hanging out for a little while and we are gonna be getting organized. We are gonna be making plans for the week of action coming up, May 8th through the 14th. We are having daily actions throughout the nation, all right? And so whatever you can do, whatever you are inspired to do, there's a place here. My first speech I gave on International Women's Day, I quoted my grandmother, because she used to always say there are no small parts, there are only small actors. And that means that however small we may be as individuals in stature, our impact is huge. It's huge! Yeah. And we have our individual skills and strengths that we can leverage to make a change. We all have a part in this fight. So we are going to be doing banner drops, we are going to be doing postering, painting the town green, we are going to be doing rallies and protests, we are going to be joining together and forging a community here. So please stick around, we've got so many plans that we want to include you all in. All right, you've got the power here. We can drive change. Remember that chant, all right? I have the power to drive change.
I have the power to drive change.
Abortion rights emergency, and we also recognize that the mainstream of the women's movement had a strategy of giving up ahead of time. That's what you read when you read those articles that say prepare for a post-Roe America. That means we gave the fuck up. And we recognize that we cannot afford to do that. But this organization is way too small right now to lead the kind of numbers that are needed. And that's where you come in. If you think we need to rise up for abortion rights, if you think we need to fight for abortion on demand and without apology, if you recognize that forced motherhood is female enslavement, well, I got news for you. I'm going to quote Sophia from earlier. You are recruited into Rise Up for Abortion Rights, to be an organizer, to be a leader, to use your creativity, to spread this all throughout society. Scientists, the medical sphere, students, teachers, who else? Everybody. The neighborhoods, the high schools, the colleges, everybody in every part of the churches. Thank you, brother. The churches. Everybody in every corner of society needs to act, and they need to act quickly. That means we need to reach them. So stick around. We need an artist working group, and we need somebody to lead that artist working group. Where's Juliana? Juliana's recruited to lead a working group of artists. Okay? We need a student, brother's gonna help her. We need a student network. A lot of them had to leave, so Luna's gonna reach out and make sure that they get linked with each other, so they're each other's collectivities. There is a national Spanish-speaking working group of Rise Up for Abortion Rights. They're the ones who called for protests at churches on Mother's Day. Okay, so some people need to put their heads together on what's that gonna look like here in Los Angeles. Where are we gonna reach and how? That's right. Where are we going to bring bilingual materials? So right now, right here, like, working groups are going to like sit down and start working together, and people are going to step forward and say, all right, I'm going to lead this. Give me your information. I'll get back to you. That's going to happen here and now, okay? Abortion rights emergency, and we also recognize that the mainstream of the women's movement had a strategy of giving up ahead of time. That's what you read when you read those articles that say prepare for a post-Roe America. That means we gave the fuck up. And we recognize that we cannot afford to do that. But this organization is way too small right now to lead the kind of numbers that are needed. And that's where you come in. If you think we need to rise up for abortion rights, if you think we need to fight for abortion on demand and without apology, if you recognize that forced motherhood is female enslavement, well, I got news for you. I'm going to quote Sophia from earlier. You are recruited into Rise Up for Abortion Rights, to be an organizer, to be a leader, to use your creativity, to spread this all throughout society. Scientists, the medical sphere, students, teachers, who else? Everybody. The neighborhoods, the high schools, the colleges, everybody in every part of the churches. Thank you, brother. The churches. Everybody in every corner of society needs to act, and they need to act quickly. That means we need to reach them. So stick around. We need an artist working group, and we need somebody to lead that artist working group. Where's Juliana? Juliana's recruited to lead a working group of artists. Okay? We need a student. Brother's going to help her. We need a student network. A lot of them had to leave, so Luna's going to reach out and make sure that they get linked with each other so they're each other's collectivities. There is a national Spanish-speaking working group of Rise Up for Abortion Rights. They're the ones who called for protests at churches on Mother's Day. Okay, so some people need to put their heads together on what's that going to look like here in Los Angeles. Where are we going to reach and how? That's right. Where are we going to bring bilingual materials? So right now, right here, like, working groups are going to like sit down and start working together, and people are going to step forward and say, all right, I'm going to lead this. Give me your information. I'll get back to you. That's going to happen here and now, okay?
Hi. It's nice to see you guys again. I know there aren't so many of us, but it's nice. We're intimate. And I just wanted to ask a question. How many of you are from or have ever visited a country that where abortion is illegal? 1, 2, 3. So not that many. So even though we're here and we realize that this is important, I would like to paint a picture for you of what it actually looks like when a country has not allowed abortion since ever. I'm from Morocco, which is a small country in North Africa. It's a Muslim country, and for obvious reasons, abortion is not legal there. It is impossible to leave your house without encountering children, little gangs of children running all over the place, begging for money, asking for money, stealing from people, running up on you, stealing your cell phone. You cannot have jewelry on, you cannot, and you can't really blame them because they are living in complete poverty and have nothing, and they are hustling for their lives. It is not uncommon to see women with 3, 4, 5, 6 children laying on the street with their kids on top of them, hands out, begging you for money. They are never able to get under from the financial pressure of taking care of their kids. They get raped on the streets. Their fathers, baby daddies abandon them immediately. And honestly, those men are just trying to survive also. I'm not trying to make demons out of men. I'm just saying it's an unfortunate fucking situation. When people say that the people in poverty are going to be the ones who are affected by this the most, that's what it looks like. People, imagine how many abortions a day. Imagine how many babies that is. It is an impossible number of babies. They will just be everywhere. Children will be in the middle of the street, walking up to your car, tapping on your windows, trying to sell you tissue paper, candy, whatever it is. Like, you think you see one kid on the metro every once in a while selling you candy, and you're like, no, no, no. Imagine 100 kids. Please, 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 whatever you have, I'll take it. Can you give me? Can you give me? Like, it's impossible, and you become broken and dead inside, and you think you would never let that happen, but instead you're just like, hey, leave me alone. I gotta go. I can't. Not right now. I don't have any change. You do your best, but you have to deaden yourself inside to be able to just get through the day without your heart breaking a million times. Children are on drugs. You see them huffing on bags and glue sticks and pepper, like spray cans and whatever they can get their hands on, and it just becomes so normal that it's impossible, and we don't realize the kind of privilege that we live in where we never see that. We never see that. And so please, like, think way past this. Think 20 years from now, 50 years from now. If abortion is illegal in this country, that is what it could potentially look like. I don't see how it's not going to look like that. We say that we won't let that happen, but look where you are. Look at the homelessness here. Look how we don't help these people. Look how they're walking in the streets and we allow them to walk by like it's totally normal that that happens. There are countries where there is no homelessness. That is not normal. Babies should not be homeless. And one woman cannot be expected to take care of 6 children. It's impossible. And then the government wants to say that we want free handouts and we want to live off welfare checks, and we just keep on having babies, and then they're forcing us to have more babies. It makes no actual sense. Yeah. So, like, I just wanted to paint that picture of you so you can be re-emboldened. Why you're here is so important. Thank you.
Because we have to hold each other accountable to come back to these protests and take back the fucking streets. And again, why we're here for, at least for I'm here for the people at the border, women at the ICE detention centers who are getting their uteruses ripped out. I am here for my indigenous ancestors who were raped and brutally beaten and didn't have that choice. And we're here for so many other reasons, and other women who don't have the advantage to speak up for themselves. And we have to continue to be on the streets and take up the streets and use our voices to fight for people who don't have that privilege of using that. Thank you.
My name is Rose. This is something that I wrote literally yesterday, because unfortunately I missed Tuesday's protest, but here we go. So what's happening right now is just another demonstration to show that the Supreme Court truly does not care about women or people that are able to give birth in this country. They never have, and they never will, unless we stand the fuck up, fight for this shit, and speak out. I'm not gonna shut up about this, and neither should you. And right now, we must do what we can. Donate to local abortion centers and facilities, help out people that provide resources, share resources to those that need our assistance, that need our help, and order contraceptions online so that they stay stocked in local stores. Keep using your voices for those who can't, because none of us are free until all of us are free.
That's right, Kiro.
Abortions are not only a human right that we deserve, but it's one that we need and that we demand. Overturning Roe V Wade is just gonna lead to millions of deaths that are fucking preventable. Does that not infuriate you? And if you ask me, that doesn't seem very pro-life, does it? That just shows their hypocrisy. Thank you.
Look, everybody here is in the right place, and we gotta make this grow to look like this times 10. And part of doing that is facing the reality that there's a bunch of fucking disgusting people out there that are actually gonna try and shut this down. And I'm not gonna let it get shut down, and I'm calling on people to work with me to make sure that it doesn't get shut down. So I'm asking people, come meet me out on the backside, and we're gonna try and put together a security force. Look, because the fury of women, once it's unleashed, can be a mighty force for revolution. And that is what is ultimately gonna hold this down. And me and the people that understand the need for that security force are gonna make sure that happens as well. So team up with me in the back and we'll go to work on it.
I just want to say, because he didn't introduce himself, that brother is Bo. He's a member of the Revolution Club. He's a very serious and determined fighter to protect the ability for people to stand up against this system. He's an anti-imperialist and revolutionary veteran, and he will tell you firsthand that the crimes of this system commit to people around the world is what fuels him in the fight for revolution and fuels him in the fight to protect people's ability to stand up against that system. So that's who that was. He's a hero, he's been a long-time target of the fascists, and he's determined to stand up and to help lead people to stand up and protect our ability to actually be in the streets and not get fucked with. So you should please talk to him.
Of our demand and our call to action here, all right? This draft that was leaked is just a draft. It is not law, and we have the power to prevent it from ever becoming law, all right? And while there is a lot of support for that right now, major news outlets and probably the most disappointing, most of the leaders of the pro-choice movement are saying some things that can be a little confusing for the masses. Because they're saying we can stop this through what appears to be more of an underground railroad system. They're saying spread the word about abortion pills and donate to abortion funds. That's capitulation in advance. That is accepting the overturning of rights for millions of people and worse. And I want to remind you of what I said earlier. Access to the abortion pill is a privilege that many people in this country do not have. You have to have an address You have to have access to internet. You have to have a safe place. If your parents are home, you have to worry about them getting to the mail before you. That's not right. That's not right. And that's confusing people and taking away their power, preaching that. Because what we can do is stop this. And what we must do is stop this from happening in the first place. It's not too late to stop the Supreme Court from taking away the right to abortion. And what's so insidious about this plan, about this decision that was drafted, and if it is allowed to be published and become law, is it will not stop at abortion rights. It's not going to stop there. If you read this draft, they quote the Supreme Court decision that made it allowed it a constitutional right to gay marriage. This is opening the door to start rolling that back right next. It is opening the door to rolling back the right to interracial marriage to the states.
Fuck that shit!
Fuck that shit. This is opening the door to rolling back the right to privacy. This is opening the door to rolling back the right to birth control guaranteed in Griswold. And this isn't science fiction. This isn't alarmist. This isn't over-exaggeration. They have been talking about this openly. Openly for years, for decades. They've been using abortion as a battering ram that they have been uniting against together for decades. So now we're going to use this as a rallying point. All of us, all of the people of conscience in this country and around the world are going to use this issue as a rallying point because it is being used by those who seek to oppress us as a battering ram to assault our freedoms on a much grander scale. We can stop this from happening. We can stop this from happening, but in order to do so, we need to take consistent mass action, growing bigger and bigger every time. We have the power to drive change and stop an atrocity from happening upon the people of this country. If Roe v. Wade is allowed to be overturned, 26 to 28 states have trigger bans that will go into place overnight. And it doesn't just stop at banning abortion. Some of them seek to criminalize any negative pregnancy outcome. That means miscarriage. 1 in 5 pregnancies end in miscarriage. 1,200 people in the United States are in prison right now for having a miscarriage, and that number is only going to grow if Roe v. Wade is overturned and abortion is further demonized.
Can you say that again? How many people?
1,200 people. 1,200 people are in prison right now, predominantly women of color. And you better believe that that number is going to grow, and marginalized communities are going to be further oppressed if Roe v. Wade is allowed to be overturned. And furthermore, if it is allowed to be overturned, the GOP has already begun discussions of amending their platform to move for a national ban on abortion with no exceptions. So I've been hearing a lot of people out in the streets, a lot of people speaking that say, oh, well, it'll never happen in California. We're safe. We're becoming a sanctuary state. It'll be all right. It's never going to happen here. That is a false sense of security that needs to be shaken apart because they are moving to ban it everywhere. But we still have time to stop it. We still have time to stop it. So we are going out into the streets, not just today, but every day. So where are we going to be on May 7th?
The streets.
In the streets. What time?
Noon.
And where are we going to be?
West Hollywood.
Exactly. We're going to be on Santa Monica and San Vicente at noon on May 7th for a protest, rally, and art party. I hope to see you all there. So I know some other people want to speak again. We're going to open up for a speak out very briefly, and then we're going to get...